Paul, welcome, MD and founder and owner of the online fulfillment centre in Grimsby. The first things first, an online fulfillment centre, some people will know what that is and others wouldn't have a clue. So just give us an explanation. What is it you do?
Yeah, I mean, probably the easiest way to describe what we do is that we're like a mini Amazon. So basically we hold stock for companies or online retailers that don't want to have the warehousing and don't want to have the staff that pick and pack and the orders to send out to the customers.
Okay.
So essentially there's normally 2 or 3 types of customers that we'll have. Someone who started out like myself, selling online from their house, and it gets too big. Yeah. But then, as I said, they don't want to take on the warehousing costs, the staff overheads. So they send us their products. We store them here, and our software connects with their websites, downloads the orders. We pick and pack and send them out to the customers for them.
I mean, that's a big thing, isn't it? The whole idea of selling things online, selling things from home, that's been quite a trend. But you were ahead of that.
Yeah, I mean, I essentially was one of my clients back in 2006. I set up Smile For You, as it was then.
That's right.
Selling a teeth whitening kit on eBay. And it was great. It was making me a few extra pounds, spending money for holidays. So I then decided to build a website. And that was back then when websites were fairly straightforward to build. If anyone's from the same sort of age and era as me, they'll remember Microsoft Front Page and Publisher. So I did that, set up a website, run a few AdWords. Again, it's when AdWords were really cheap to run. And experienced my first taste of marketing and spin. I purchased a little advert in GQ magazine. It was only 2 lines long, paid £200 for it. But then I put on the website as seen in GQ. And sales went up. I thought, well, that's that's interesting.
That's true.
That's good. So again, I was working all alongside, and it was starting to get a serious sort of business. I was selling cars, selling blinds, selling websites, and it was fantastic. It was paying for all my holidays and stuff. I was working for a web company, and I was working really hard for one of these clients. And it was quite easy for me to sell websites because I could say to them, well, look, I've got my own website and look how successful it is. I can do the same for you, which is great, but not so great when the web company doesn't back up what you'll say you're going to do. So I went to one client one day, and he basically had a real go at me. And I'd been working really hard, working late, trying to get things done for him. And I sat in the car park afterwards, and I thought, why am I working so hard for someone else? Why don't I do it for myself?
So that's a real message from a real entrepreneur, isn't it? At the moment.
Yeah. So I took the plunge and started working from home, just selling the teeth whitening kits. But it took me about 6 months to work out what I was actually doing. Yeah. I'm not very focused at home. I'd get up maybe 10 o'clock in the morning, watch a bit of Jeremy Kyle, take the dogs for a walk, have something to eat. Before I realised it was 2 o'clock and I hadn't really done anything. So I dipped into affiliate marketing with the kits, and that was really successful. So we're getting more and more sales, and it got to a point all I was doing all day was packing kits and taking them to the post office. So I thought, well, this is not going to grow unless I do something. So I took the plunge and got an office here. G7.
Yeah, I remember.
Hired a member of staff and got a car. So all of a sudden now I had overheads, and all of a sudden I became very focused.
It tends to do that.
Yeah, I put up on a whiteboard what I thought was going to be 3 months worth of work. I got it done in a month. Wow. Another company that I'd sort of had dealings with, teeth whitening, they said to me, would you send our products out for us? I thought, yeah, why not? So I started sending their products out as well. And then through the affiliate marketing, a couple of the largest UK affiliates, I think they had a similar sort of epiphany of me. I don't know if you know how affiliate marketing works. These affiliates build review websites and basically review products, and they get commissions for them. Yeah. So they decided, well, why are we reviewing other people's products? Why don't we create our own and put those on our review sites? So that's what they did. Again, a couple of them came to me and said, well, would you send our products out? And then all of a sudden, I became a fulfillment company.
Wow.
So, I mean, the good thing is I know where those people come from and how they start. So, because I've been in that position myself, and it's just mad. I mean, I think I've been here or down on E-Factor now for, it must be over 10 years. I think
it is.
now.
Yeah,
I think it's my third or fourth contract.
One of the earliest people.
And I've gone through some of the premises, most of the premises, to having the 2 units now with the 2 mezzanine floors, and hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe another one later on this year.
Yeah. I mean, your growth has been incredible, and it's a sign of the times, I guess, and changing market. And you mentioned Amazon at the beginning. Do you find you're now competing with the likes of Amazon?
No, we could never compete with Amazon.
No, I mean,
Amazon's an absolute beast, and we're actually finding now, with the fees and stuff that Amazon charge the retailers and stuff to send products out, that we're getting people coming from Amazon for us. We can connect to their Amazon accounts, so we can still download those, and we're actually sending them out for them as opposed to Amazon, because Amazon are a bit of a law unto themselves.
Sure,
really, from that perspective.
Well, then you found a niche in the market, then, haven't you? That you're fulfilling in the first place.
I mean, we've got so many broad range of clients. Everything from, I mean, local company Doc's Beers, we send out their web orders for them. We've got Ian Poulter, the golfer, we send out his products. Right. Flooring, ceiling tiles, supplements, Georgian wine. We've got Love ladies leggings. Right. With watches, if I can store it and send it out, then I'm going to do it.
That's what I was going to ask. Is there anything that you won't? Obviously legal, but is there anything that you won't?
No. If I can store it and it's legal, as you said. We've got one client's quite complicated. We send out DG goods for him.
DG goods?
Dangerous goods.
Oh, okay.
Dangerous goods for him. It's chlorine-based stuff for swimming pools and stuff. But we just have to make sure that we adhere to all the regulations and stuff for sending out and packing regulations and stuff like that.
That's part of the job, I suppose. To know about that.
Yeah, but I don't like to turn work down.
No, clearly not. And so you no longer sell things that for yourself. You still do?
Yeah, the teeth whitening kit's still going strong.
Really?
We had an influencer, beauty influencer, who's part of the affiliate. We still got the affiliate program on it. She did a viral video about 6 weeks ago, and we sold, I think it was about 2,000 kits in a couple of weeks, which was a bit of a shame because we only had 1,000 in stock. And it's about a 2-3 week wait from America. Right. But it just showed, I mean, I'm in the wrong business, really. I mean, she earned a fortune from a 7-minute video.
Yeah, well, that's the way of things now.
That tends to be the way things are moving at the moment with stuff like that. But I've still got that, and I've still got a beauty website. But I don't know whether, apart from things like the video and stuff, no idea where those sales come from anymore. I did have someone want to buy it, but I just can't let go of it because it's everything I've got came from that website and that little teeth whitening kit.
And it's wonderful that you built it from the idea of being what your customers are now to filling the gaps that you were experiencing in trying to make that work, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it takes that headache out of it for the clients because they get tied up in the logistics side of things. And it's exactly where I was. I was tied up in the logistics side of things. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's not beneath me. But your talents are elsewhere, better spent elsewhere in actually growing the business. So they can totally forget about that and they can focus on actually growing the business as well.
So why aren't there more of you all around, or are there around the country? Is there a network of?
There's not so much a network of them, but there is a lot of fulfillment companies, some big, some small. I mean, there's another one locally, Swift Fulfillment. They pretty much the same. He started off selling his own stuff, electronics, and moved into fulfillment. So there's plenty of us about, but there's plenty of business about as well. So I don't actually feel that we're actually competing with other fulfillment houses because there is, and we're all providing the same service. The USPs are probably maybe just what differentiate between yourself and others.
And I suppose that the quality of your service, because it's so about logistics and on time and doing what you say. That must be the watchword for your company.
Yeah, I mean the main thing is you guarantee that you're getting their products to their customers in good time and in good condition. But we have a few other bits and pieces that we do which we feel stand us out a little bit from the others. I mean, as strange as it may sound, I don't want to be a big, massive company because I've got a really close relationship with all my clients, and I want to retain that. We have got a support team, but my clients tend to email me, and I don't mind that, so I'll email them back. It's not unusual for me to be emailing back my clients at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. And I want to retain that. I think if you get too big, you just physically can't do that from that perspective.
That's interesting, Paul. You know, I hear a lot of I have a lot of discussions with growth businesses and businesses who are trying to, and there's a growing trend or a growing ideal now that people don't want to be massive and international. They actually just want to get to a point where they're still enjoying the business, but it's serving them well.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. If I was 15, 20 years younger, I'd probably have a different outlook. Yeah. But I'm 57 this year, and not that I want to slow down, but 3 or 4 years' time, I'll probably want to be enjoying a little bit more golf than I do now. Yeah. Some might say, well, you enjoy plenty of golf as it is now. But yeah, I want to be looking to slow down a little bit over the next 4 or 5 years. Having said that, as I said, the last year or so, we have seen some considerable growth, and it's quite exciting to see the growth as well.
Yeah, that still stimulates you.
Oh yeah. And then it opens up your eyes, and you think, well, maybe I do want to get a bit bigger.
The temptation.
Well, the side effect of that is I mean, I like the clients that come on board that are just starting out and seeing them grow. So, I mean, one of my clients, she started about 2 years ago with me. She was selling 5 a week. She's now selling 50 a day. And I like to play. We play a big part in that. And then the other side, obviously, is being able to create local job opportunities. Yeah. So that's a big thing. It gives you sleepless nights because all of a sudden you've got the responsibility of these people who rely on you for livelihoods. So from that perspective, it's not easy, but it's a nice byproduct to be able to give people an opportunity to earn rather than be stuck at home or be stuck on benefits.
So you could, I mean, you were a really early adopter of this service, and or going all the way back to 2006, and now you look at the amount of people who are looking at businesses selling products online who would require your service. So if someone came to you and said, "Look, this is product A that I've got that I think is apart from the logistics, apart from you saying, well, we'll store it and send it out, what other advice would you give a new up and coming entrepreneur who was selling online?
It's difficult now. It's a lot harder than it used to be back when I started because there's not many original ideas or original products out there. A lot of the best things now are sort of digital products, subscription-based products, but you have to have something unique, and it's either the product's unique or it's the story behind it.
Right.
And invariably now it's the story behind it, because you'll find a similar product out there. Yeah. Most of the products, they all do a similar sort of thing. Yeah. So a lot of the time now it's a story behind it, or as we're seeing with the viral video that we had on the teeth whitening kits recently, there's a lot of influencers now. So a lot of influencers with those followers, they're now monetizing that by creating a product because they know they've got the reach out there with the followers that they've got. So it's quite a quick and easy win for them now.
So they don't just, they're kind of following what you do. They don't do it for other, or they're doing it for other people, but they're also introducing their own. Yeah, so
it's a growing trend now. You see the influencers, they start out looking to get products from brands and free products through brands and stuff like that. And once they build up a big enough following, it's very easy then to monetize it and bring out your own product.
Yeah, of course it is. And do you imagine that if somebody came to you with product that you would be able to advise them in that direction?
Yeah, I mean, again, that's one of the things that because I've been selling online since 2006, and because I work across a wide, varied range of markets, I don't help myself sometimes, because when I get a new client in, I'm instantly thinking, well, what if this was my product, and what if I would do with this? And I'm constantly giving them advice. Well, what about this? I'm introducing clients to other clients who might cross market quite well. Because the way I look at it, if I can help them generate more sales, guess who's sending them out?
Yeah,
it's me.
Yeah, absolutely. And the loyalty they have to you then for giving them that is, I mean, that's brilliant. That is the way it should be, isn't it? That you're helping further down the line your customers simply because they'll stay your customers for that.
And I mean, I'm also started networking, which is I've finally taken my own advice in that, freeing up my own time, because I'd spent a lot of my time was spent in the business. And I'm always telling my clients, take yourself out of the business to allow it to grow. And I've never really done that myself until the last year or so. So I've now taken myself out of the business a little bit more, put staff in place to deal with some of the stuff that I was dealing with. So that's freed up my time to do things like a little bit of networking and stuff. But I'm not only networking for myself, I'm networking for my clients as well. So, for instance, I met a foreign exchange guy at a golf thing recently, and I buy my stock from America. So on my last 2 shipments from America, he saved me about £700 on the exchange rate. Wow. But I've passed him on to my clients as well, because a lot of them buy from China, America, and they're all saving money now as well. So I kind of think that they probably wouldn't get that from another fulfillment company.
So in effect, you're kind of also becoming an influencer in your own right as well. There's a pattern for
without the followers.
Apart
from my own clients.
No, for sure. I mean, that's quite the whole idea of working on your business rather than working in your business, or taking some time to do that. It's a challenge that's put up to practically every entrepreneur I've ever met, that they've been through that, and I suppose it's a quite a scary place to step out of what you really know operationally to doing something a bit different.
Yeah, because I mean, some of the time I think, what am I going to do with myself with all this free time? And it's only when you sit down and break it down, well, I can do this. You've got to be a little bit more disciplined. Because when you're in the business all the time, you're just doing stuff all the time, and it's automatic. When you take yourself out and, right, if I can do a bit of networking here, or what will I do with this website? What will I do with this client? So you've got to be a little bit more structured and disciplined in your approach to it. But it'll be a little bit like when I first moved into the house and stopped working and started working for myself. It's going to probably take me a little bit of time to get used to it, and a little bit of time to get used to having some free time. Because I don't really have much free time. No. It's just, I don't like it.
No.
To be honest with you.
Well, I think it's a change, isn't it? And we've all seen in our life that people who work all the hours God sends and then suddenly decide to retire and do nothing, and that's not good for you. You can see that's not good for you. And so doing this, changing your lifestyle gradually over a period of time, as you're doing, is probably sound advice, really, to keep yourself and your mind healthy and active, I suppose. Now, you are quite aside from the growth that you've created for the online fulfillment centre. I mean, you're a whole family of entrepreneurs. The Beauty at the Gate is another business interest that you've been passionate about since I've known you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we class ourselves as entrepreneurs. We just
I think starting a business from nothing to success. That's
I suppose, but Beauty at the Gate has just been phenomenally successful. I mean, my wife Sam, she sort of similar path to me. When she had our second child, Albie, she was working basically to pay for nursery. She was working in House of Fraser in Binns, so she decided to go back to college and retrain herself in beauty. So then she started working from home originally. So we converted one of the rooms upstairs into a treatment room for her, which was okay. It led to a couple of funny phone calls when someone's ringing up and I'm saying she's upstairs with a client. I don't think they quite got the meaning that it was. But she always wanted to have her own little salon. So that's been open. We've been 13 years now. So we opened as a small salon in Halton-le-Clay with just one little unit. In 2016, we were fortunate enough to win both the top industry awards for small salon in the UK.
I remember that.
We've won the Business Hive awards a couple of times. And it's just gone from strength to strength. We've now got 4 units up there. She's got 10 girls up there. And we've been finalists for national awards for the last 7 years running. We finally won one of them in November down in Windsor, Babtac, which is probably the biggest award that you can win within the beauty industry. And we were in London a couple of weeks ago for Professional Beauty National Awards, but we were not fortunate to win that one.
Yeah.
But we'll keep going. We'll keep going. But I kind of think it's an industry that's not really given the credit it deserves. It's always seen as a luxury industry, but it's so important for health and well-being. Majority of women, if they feel good about how they look, it dictates how they feel.
Yeah, well, I think that goes probably for men and women, to be honest.
Yeah,
If you feel good about yourself, then that's really, it's really quite interesting. The idea of it being an industry that's undervalued, I can relate to that.
It's hugely undervalued and taken for granted. I mean, it's a struggle. Because with things like national wage coming in and the national insurance going up, it's a very service-based industry.
Yeah.
So the VAT we get, we don't actually make much money up there.
Yeah.
If I could turn back time, I probably wouldn't do it again.
Wow. Okay.
If I'd have known at the start of the pandemic how much we were going to be closed, I probably would have shut it then.
Yeah.
Sam could probably earn more money working for herself at home again now.
Yeah.
But the responsibility that we have with the girls, she absolutely loves her job. That's
priceless.
Isn't it? Because you can't just shut down and put 10 girls out of work.
And you're doing something right. If you're winning those awards or becoming finalists in national awards, you've got to be doing something. And you must have created careers for a number of people in doing that. Yeah.
I mean, we're looking at probably the next step up there now would possibly be something like a training academy. But we've had 13 babies, all the staff that go through because we're complete.
Sorry, say it again. You've had 13.
I haven't had 13 personally babies.
Okay.
But
you didn't look tired enough for that to have happened.
No, I think we've had about 13 pregnancies up there.
Oh, okay.
So any of the girls, because we work slightly different, Sam's biggest thing is training the girls. They have to be fully trained. So if someone new coming to Sam, we've had a couple of new girls come, and experienced girls, but they don't go into treatment straight away. It's probably a month or two before they actually go into treatment because Sam has to train them how the way she wants her treatments done. It's all branded training that we send them on. So we've had girls come to us in the past that have been at other salons for 10 years and they've got more certification with us in 6 months than they had at the other place in 10 years. From a business perspective, it's probably not the best way financially because of the investment that we're making in them. But we're always in it for the long term, and we always say to the girls, it's a career that we want to give you as opposed to just a normal job. And
that industry is growing and adapting or diversifying, should I say, with things like aesthetics and makeup and non-surgical makeovers and all those. I think that's not even the right term, but it seems to be changing a great deal. It's important to have quality.
We've had to change and adapt. I mean, we're at the moment we're going through another sort of team change. We kind of liken ourselves to a football team up there, really, like Alex Ferguson, because you're constantly rebuilding new teams. When we came out of the pandemic, we had a few girls that when furlough finished decided to go and work for themselves. But at the time, we sort of realised that we were doing a lot of low-value treatments, so we needed high volume of them. And to succeed as a big salon, you can't really do that. So we had two ways we could go. One was to shut down, or the other one was to reinvest and go after the high value treatments, which is what we did. So we've invested probably best part of £200,000 in machinery up there.
Wow.
So now we're able to do the high value treatments, but they, as you said, they're moving more away from the non-surgical stuff. So there's some fantastic machines up there that we do that do some wonderful things. You can probably see I don't go on them, but yeah, I mean it's totally changed our business model. But we had to do something. We've got a an employed nurse up there now as well that does aesthetics.
Okay.
So you have to go down that route, and you're constantly. Unfortunately for me, I've got a wife who wants to constantly change and find new things.
Yeah.
So she's constantly coming to me. Oh, I found this new machine. It's only 25,000, but it'll do this. It's like,
It's getting you good returns, though, because with your customer base and your awards and whatnot.
Yeah, and again, looking towards the future, we're building something that will hopefully be of value when we decide, when she decides that she wants to take a step away from that.
Yeah. Do you think that'll be anytime soon, or it doesn't sound like it?
No. I think I'll be going before she does.
Yeah, okay. One more question about that. It's called Beauty at the Gate, and I've never quite realised why it was called that. So what's behind that name?
Because it's based at Lancaster Gate in Halton Macleay.
Okay.
It's as easy as that.
That was easy then, wasn't it?
It was as easy as that. We did when we first did, we wanted something that we could kind of brand. Samantha's Beauty didn't really do it for us. So we wanted something that we could kind of turn into a brand. And it was quite nice, actually, after about 6 months. And a lot of people don't call us Beauty at the Gate. They call us BATG.
Oh, right. Oh,
so
okay.
when you see people abbreviating your name and giving you a nickname, that you know that you've done something right. You've done something right, yeah.
That's tremendous. I mean, it must be so fulfilling for both of you, for you and Samantha, to have taken your businesses, respective businesses, to where they are now.
Yeah.
It's going back to the online and the fulfillment side of things. That's also continuing to grow. It feels, and from everything you're saying. So, is there a different future for if towns are new businesses are popping up in towns like this all over the place? Are we going to see it go full circle? Are they going to be big, or are you going to come together and big organisations take over? Or
I don't think so. I think it'll probably stay as it is now. There's different kind of models, pricing models. I tend to price myself a little bit differently from some fulfilment companies. I just charge one price per order, irrespective of what's in the order. Yeah. With other fulfilment companies, one order can have many charges on. Yeah. But I can't see there being not a need for it. The problem with the bigger companies is the problem that they are big. Yeah. So then you get into things like customer service problems. They run into problems with things like overheads and stuff themselves. Yeah. I've always been a firm believer in natural growth. I've never really wanted to grow massive overnight because it brings inherent problems and it makes you a lot more vulnerable than if you do it naturally. Yeah. So I'm quite happy with the growth rate There's been a bit of a spurt the last year or so. Yeah. I mean, pandemic was fantastic for us.
I bet you must have had.
Oh, it was, yeah.
It must have been rushed off your feet.
I mean, there was only me and my son Jay, and I think at that time we were probably sending out 5,000 orders a month beforehand, but in that May we sent out 15,000 between the two of us. We had a little bit of a slump, and I probably, if I'm honest, took my eye off the ball just after the pandemic because of all the money that we got in from the pandemic. And then it's only in the last year or so that I've tried to step back up again. Yeah. And now I think I think this time last year, I think 2023, I think our turnover was probably about 500,000. Right, okay. But we're going to do over 1 million this year.
That's epic growth. That really is, and more sustainable by the sounds of it than it was through the pandemic. Yeah,
and again, with me being able to take my time out of the day-to-day running, I've been really able to drill into the details and the figures and stuff, and make a few adjustments here and there. Yeah. And it's you think to yourself, oh, 5p won't matter here and there, but when you're sending out 100,000 at 5p does tend to make a difference. So now we're looking, as I said, the plan for me really, and my ideal plan really, is to look at growing it for the next 2-3 years. Yeah. To potentially semi-exit. My dream wish would be whoever buys it would keep me in for 2 or 3 days a week.
That's everyone's dream, isn't it? A lot of golf, and every now and then dip in to take your wisdom. And I do. There's one last part of what you've said, and it's really interesting. When you're talking about influencers and your natural instinct to try and help each customer that comes along, Is there a business model in that? Is there a business model that says your online fulfillment center will become a turnkey agency for anyone who's got a product they want to sell online, from marketing all the way through to fulfillment?
Well, there's probably a model for me, a consultancy based model for me. Maybe a little bit further down. Maybe if someone who if I do exit and someone does buy the company, they don't want me in there. They could, because I can't just not do nothing. So there is the possibility for that. At the moment, I'm just kind of using it to hopefully generate sales for my clients, which, as I said earlier, benefits me, because the more sales they make, the more I'm sending out.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day.
I tell you what, it sounds like there's a lot of future left in you, obviously, but also in the business that you've got. It doesn't appear to have stopped growing.
I think it'll only grow. I mean, I think the sky is the limit with it. As I said, if I was 10, 15 years younger, I'd probably be looking at maybe a massive warehouse and maybe raising some investment to do that. But I'm not quite there. The problem, not so much the problems, but the stresses it brings with a larger workforce. I'm quite happy with a small workforce. I can manage a small workforce without worrying too much.
And organic growth has stood you well so far. So why not? Why not stick with it? Paul, that's been brilliant. And look, I wish you so much luck for the future of Fulfillment Centre and for Beauty at the Gate. It doesn't seem like you need it, but I look forward to it.
No, but I mean, we've been lucky. I mean, I've got to mention the guys here at eFactor, that we wouldn't have been able to do any of this without the support that we've had here since I walked into G7 all those years ago, and move into 3 or 4 different units. Every time it's always been help and support along the way. So I'm just grateful for that as well.
Well, I'll tell you what, I never imagined that from this bloke who's selling tooth whitening kits, which was how I first heard about you, to where you are now. I could never imagine the success for that. So congratulations and all power to you, mate. That's great. Great chat. Thanks a lot, Paul.
Thanks a lot.